G'day guys, welcome to Mark and Sam After Work. Today I want to give you a little update on this bullet seeker chronograph. Now there's a link in the description to the original video I did which showed off this bullet seeker and how you could use it. And listen, I've found it to be very good. I have used for a few years now, used the lab radar, worked well for me, a bit thingy about making it work and you've got to get all the right bits and pieces to make it work, but I got it to where it was working well. I was happy with how it worked. This system here, which is a little chronograph which you then can bolt to the rifle or set it on a tripod. It is very tuned to being very close to where the muzzle, where the bullet path is, but I found it to work really well and reliably for me as well, and all the way as I tested it. I then, listen, the guys at Bullet Seeker said they would like us to have one. I had one here just to show it off. They'd like us to have one, so they changed it over. I think there was a recoil or something like that happened, or was very early stock or something rather. And I got this one here, which is, so it's a different unit. I didn't find any difference in how it's operated whatsoever. It's all working really nicely. I did get, when I got that, this, which is a parabolic lens, is what it's called. It clips to the front, and I have found in some places that can actually help a little bit. I think what this does, I haven't done any reading on it, but I think it actually broadens out where it can actually see a little clearer or something like that. But I suppose I did want to go through and tell you the things that I have found with it. It has worked well for me, but there is some times where there are some little quirks that you have to, that I've found I had to do to make it work better. Those quirks consisted of a couple of times when the rifle I had it on, the very small bullet, I think it was shooting with the 22. I've forgotten exactly what I was doing, but I found I was struggling a little bit I wasn't getting a reading, simple as that, I wasn't getting a reading. Couple of shots, I don't like shooting and not getting readings. It frustrating me. It happens with any chronograph system. So something with Doppler radar like this is using and like the lab radar is, it means you can do that because you haven't set it up properly, generally is what I find. With this system, what I generally found is I had to get it closer to in line with the barrel. Now you've got to make sure there's no shielding. Muzzle brakes, the gas coming out of the side of the muzzle brake can obviously cause issues. And on some of the lever actions and things like that, I set it up where with this sort of system here, I clip it on there and then use some lacky bands to hold it to the barrel, and actually having it out so it's only 6 inches from the muzzle, but having that lined up to where it could see things really helped. The only thing I found as a quirk with that, with using it that way, is that in some situations when you fired it, it would actually move a tiny bit during the firing. And so then it wasn't pointing at the right place where the bullet was traveling when the rifle went bang. So I felt that was an issue sometimes. One time I just put the lens on, that answered it. But that would be the main thing that I've actually seen, not being close enough or not being lined up enough to where the bullet path is. And like I said, I haven't done the research to find out, but from using it, what I'm actually seeing is that this needs to be very close to and very straight in line with where that projectile is going. So that's what I found there. But other than that, which like I said, there'd be probably over, I don't know, the 500 shots that I've put across these and measured them. Would it that much? Probably not. Probably more like 250, 300 shots that I've measured with them. I've only missed half a dozen of them, and it is that quirk to start off with. And that's probably what I would say. If it's not reading, it's probably not lined up properly, or there's a bit of shadow or something going on that makes it can't see. I have the parabolic lens, and maybe that's helped because I've used that half a dozen times over the last dozen times I've been out, where I just put it on anyway. So maybe that's helping me. And I'm making those comments because I'm reading some comments from people, which I haven't got answers for, but some people saying that they've heard that there is some issues with getting some readings. And that's what I would say is going on. They just either got some shadow or they're not close enough to the line of path of the bullet. The other features I can say is in the app. I use an iPhone. I've also used it on Android. The Android system was all set up and going when I first got that early one. I got another, just a beta app that I got for iPhone. Both worked fine. It's all working properly, getting readouts from your phone, all that sort of stuff, and being able to print it out as I like to do. Yes, that's all easy to do. It's not complicated at all. They have put in an extra feature in there, a couple of extra features actually, but the one I really like there is there's now a little red or green light along where you hook it all up, you turn your Bluetooth on, you then turn on to connect, you press your button on here to turn it on so it's going green. Well, you turn that on, then you do this and it goes to connect. Now it's got a little red light or a little green light alongside it. Anyway, that's about what I can tell you there. Yeah, all working really nicely. The last bit I would say is that, yes, to make mine work well, when I've used it, I've actually set it up with all the different little bits to be able to clip it to the rifle properly or to the bipod properly or whatever it is. As I mentioned, did notice that when it wasn't mounted quite properly and it was moving was one of the problems which I had with getting readings. So actually making sure that you've got that nice and close to the line of the bullet from as close as possible. You don't want shadow, you don't want a muzzle brake or gas or things getting in front of the stream of where it can see, but you still want it very close to the barrel. Further away, it's not like the lab radar, which can be a meter over to the side. I've not found it to work like that. I keep it nice and close, and that's how I've always used it, and that's how it's worked well for me. Anyway guys, that's about what I can tell you here. Hope you liked the video. Thanks for checking in. I'll catch you next time.